Okay, a very good morning. I am sharing my screen now and we will start our interaction session. I hope you are able to see my screen, which I have shared with you. So we are here to basically look at how to handle the uncertainty and anxiety due to COVID-19. But before we go ahead, let us first have a very brief understanding of what is meant by a pandemic. A disease that is prevalent over a whole country or the entire world. That is what qualifies to be a pandemic. And by this definition, definitely the COVID-19 is a pandemic. But the first question that I would like to ask you is really, is COVID-19 really the worst pandemic that we have ever seen? This infographic traces the growth of pandemics that humanity has faced over so many years. Right from the beginning of our civilization throughout history, we have been exposed to many pandemics. The size of the blobs that you see in this infographic corresponds to the number of people which are infected by a pandemic. So we see that Black Death or bubonic plague, which infected 200 million people in the mid 13th century, 14th century. Then we had smallpox, which had 56 million infections. Then the next larger one was the plague, and then we had Spanish flu in the recent times in 1918 to 1919, and then we had HIV/AIDS. Compared to all these pandemics that the humanity has already seen, where is COVID-19? COVID-19 is a small blob in the bottom of the screen, which as of 29th May, when this particular infographic was taken, was 362,000 people were infected. But you know, the situation has become much worse, and as per the current statistics, we have I'm just trying to open up the latest statistics about it. There have been 125,000 new cases from yesterday. Okay, so the confirmed cases are 61,50483. Also, we have to also understand that the worst outcome of a pandemic is the death. So as far as the landscape goes for the deaths due to the pandemic, what is the record of COVID-19? So again, we see the bubonic plague, which infected 200 million people, killed all of them, roughly all of them. Okay, nobody survived. It wiped out around 30 to 50% of Europe's population. Then smallpox had 56 million casualties. Spanish flu, 40 to 50 million. AIDS, 25 to 35 million. In this landscape, where does COVID-19 stand today? COVID-19 is only 365,000 as of 29th of May, just a couple of days ago. And today's death toll of COVID-19, today's death toll, if you see, is only 370,000. So this number 362,000 has become this morning 370,000. So where is 370,000 as compared to 200 million? So therefore, this is not the worst we have seen. We have seen many bigger pandemics, and humanity has recovered. So I'm sure with the passage of time, we will also recover from this particular pandemic. Here is a graph that shows the growth of the confirmed cases since the 100th case was recorded in 3 countries. There is a graph for China, which we can see has now almost flattened out. After about 25 or 30 days, China did not encounter any great number of increases. USA overtook China in about 20 days from the start, and now USA has already crossed 1 lakh deaths. And India has overtaken China in about 58 days from the start. And the death toll in India, just for your information, stands at around 5,185 or 6,000 cases. Now, let's sit back and look at what could be the worst outcome of COVID-19. What is the worst that can happen? First and foremost, this epidemic is leading to many deaths, and therefore people are really worried. The governments are responding by imposing lockdowns. Most of the governments all over the world, barring a few exceptions, have imposed lockdowns, and the lockdowns are increasing in severity. In India, for example, we have just been told that from tomorrow there will be the 5th lockdown, especially in places like Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, where the problem is very severe. We are going to be under lockdown for 1 more month. Because of the lockdown, because of the pandemic, global economy has been hit. Many industries are very heavily into debt. Some of them are closing down, and profitability has become very difficult, due to which several of the companies have resorted to firing of their employees. So there are several job losses. Around us, we see lots of friends and relatives and people known to us who are losing jobs because of this pandemic. In the aviation sector in India, I am told that around 30 lakh people have already lost their jobs. And most of the airline industry is going to take a very big hit. Another problem that we are observing is that a lot of people are stuck at locations where they don't want to be. They want to be near their loved and dear ones, but they are stuck, and they are taking desperate measures like walking for several hundred kilometers, or cycling, or auto rickshaw, cycle rickshaw, cramming themselves in buses, in trains, and trying to go to where they want to be with their family, with their near and dear ones, with their loved ones. And for many of us, after the initial euphoria that now there is a lockdown, there is no college, there is no office, so you are at home, you can really enjoy Netflix, Amazon Prime, all the YouTube videos, etc. After the initial euphoria, now for many of us, boredom has set in. We are desperate to go back to our normal ways, and we are wondering, what is going to be happening in the future. All of these basically have led to uncertainty and anxiety. And this is literally killing a lot of people. So what is this uncertainty and anxiety causing? It's basically causing a problem of a question everybody has in the mind is, when will this end? Okay, when will this whole situation come back to normal? That is a question that is bugging everybody's mind. People are making all kinds of guesses. But more important, everybody is concerned about their future. What will their future be? This is especially true for students who are in the final year, who are expecting jobs, who are expecting some internships, or they were expecting to take up higher studies. When will the semester start? Will I be able to travel? Will I be able to really take part? How will it be? So people are worried about the future. Many people are worried about whether they will lose their job, whether they will have to go for a massive salary cut, etc. So I want to request you to just sit back and take a little bit different look at the problem. And I want to ask you a very harsh question. Should COVID-19 really bother you? See, first thing is that fortunately, you are not on any ventilator. You are not fighting for your life, unlike so many of our countrymen in various hospitals. And there are so many people on ventilators right now that there is a massive shortage of ventilators, not only in Mumbai, not only in India, not only in the world, everywhere. Secondly, you are fortunate to have a roof on your head. You are in a safe location. You are not on the roads. You are not without any place to stay like so many of our countrymen. For no fault of theirs, they are on the roads and they have to somehow reach their destination in this very hot and horrible weather condition, without food, without water for hours together. You are also very fortunate that you have food on your table. You are not going hungry or thirsty. There are some arrangements available. If you are at home, then it's possible for you to manage yourself, or there are people to cook for you. You have food on your table. Many people are actually trying out new recipes and new things. If you have a lot of negative feelings, if you are feeling frustrated, if you are feeling upset, you do have access to a phone or many phones through which you can talk to your friends, families, loved and dear ones, and exchange and share your situation with them. So you are not like alone in an island with no contact to humanity. God forbid if something happens to you and if you have to quarantine yourself or if you have to isolate yourself, most of us are in a situation where we have access to facilities like a room with an attached toilet and some other facility. Imagine the plight of so many of our countrymen who live in very small houses or slums. In one room there are 10-15 people. Even if somebody in the family wants to isolate himself or herself, there is no place to isolate because the real estate available to them is very, very small. And finally, you have access to electrical power and a working internet or a strong internet. That is why you are able to access this particular interactive session. That is why you are able to use your time to do so many things on the internet. So therefore, keeping all these things in mind, I would like to make a statement that you and me included, we have no reason to worry with the current situation of COVID-19. But this is theory. This is what should be the case. In reality, we are all worrying, and therefore a question arises, how to stop worrying? This is a scenario or a situation in which we have no control, but we still worry. Now, the answer is very simple. If you want to stop worrying, you have to learn to change your mindset. With your current mindset, with your current outlook towards life, you will not be able to stop worrying because it's a nature, inherent and inbuilt in you. So you have to do something very proactive if you have to learn to stop worrying. At this point, I would like to pose in front of you a very fundamental question that everybody is grappling with. Everybody is concerned about the future, be it students, be it faculty members, be it family members, be it parents. Everybody is worried that, am I ready for the future? And in this lockdown period or in this time of shutdown, what should I do to make myself future-proof? So when you answer this question, just imagine that you are at a kind of a crossroads in your life. You are at a junction from where there are two roads. There is a left turn and there is a right turn. You have no option but to choose any one of those two turns. So one of the turns, the left turn, is the equipped highway. The other turn is the right turn, which is the enriched highway. Now, you have to choose one of these two. And before you choose, you need to know what is available on this particular road. So if you choose the left turn and go on the enriched highway, you are going to essentially upskill yourself. Okay, I'll be explaining very briefly what is meant by upskilling. But on the other hand, if you choose a right turn and go towards the enriched highway, you are going to upgrade yourself. Just like when we have an old computer, we have an old chip, we have a limited RAM. When you upgrade a computer, you change the chip from Pentium to i3 to i5 to i8, etc. And if you have a 2 GB RAM, you make it 8 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM or etc. Okay. So there, the basic hardware remains the same. You only make your processor very fast and you remove the clutter and you remove the limitations on the memory. But in the upskilling direction, you are doing something else. So in the upskilling direction, what you do is you learn new tools to be able to handle the future. These new tools could be that you have to learn a new language like Python, or you have to achieve mastery over an existing tool that you have, or you may have to learn some other new skill, Maybe you will learn artificial intelligence and machine learning. Whatever you think will help you becoming future proof, you will try to learn those new tools. And many of you are doing it. You are using your lockdown to register online for various courses and try to learn the new tools. Sometimes we also need to learn new tricks. For example, many of us knew about this Zoom software or any other software for communication, but we have not learned the tricks like raising your hand or sharing your screen, etc., because we never had the need. Or new tricks like so there are three. So when you learn new tools, sometimes you also have old tools available to you, but like for example, many of you know how Excel works, Microsoft Excel, but you have not learned it. So now you start learning new tricks in the same tool. So when you go on the direction of equipping yourself, you are upskilling yourself, in which you learn new tools and you also learn new tricks from the old tools that you already have. On the other hand, when you go on the right direction, you have enrichment highway where you upgrade yourself. There, the first thing that you learn is mind control, achieving a mastery or a control of over your own mind. But please understand that achieving control on your mind itself is not sufficient, because history is replete with examples of people who had excellent control on their mind, but they used their minds to create devastation and despair and misery all around them. And plus, they also themselves became miserable. What comes to my mind immediately is an example of Adolf Hitler or Mussolini or Stalin. These are some examples of people who had very good control on their mind, but they used it in a direction which was causing harm to humanity and then eventually harm to themselves. Near home, I can think of an example of Sri Nathuram Godse, who also was very highly disciplined, very disciplined person, followed a very disciplined lifestyle, but he used his control and his discipline to kill Mahatma Gandhi. So therefore, just mind control is not enough. Mind purification is the next thing that you need to really do once you have some control on your mind. Unfortunately, unless you control your mind, you cannot purify it, okay? As we will see very shortly. So at this point, my friends, I would like to start an interaction and ask you one fundamental question, that if you are standing at a junction where you have only one choice, either to go left towards equipping yourself or going right to enriching yourself, which road will you take and why? That is the question I want to ask. And for that, I'm actually stopping the sharing of my screen. Okay. I'm stopping the sharing of my screen, and I'm opening the forum for discussion. Anybody who would like to comment can raise their hand. Niharika has raised her hand. Yes, Niharika.
Hello, sir. So,
Yes, Niharika.
according to me, I think I should use the equip option, because when I learn new tricks or new tools, I tend to invest my mind in more on that. So, when I do all these new tools or new tricks, let's say Python or let's say machine learning, so I try to, like, my mind is diverted, or like my mind is diverted from all those overthinking or from the negative thoughts. So I think I'll choose the equip method more than the enrichment method.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay. There is also some message in chat. I would request most people don't use chat, because in chat we are not able to hear you. We are just able to read you. So if possible, Shubham Totade, if possible, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I will try to unmute you. Similarly, I would like to now unmute Ayush. Yes, Ayush.
I would agree on the equip part, as completely mastered, and this period of time is actually a good time to master and build up upon
Okay.
this.
So Ayush, unfortunately, your voice is not clear. So you can type your answer in the chat window. Okay, that will be helpful. I'll go to the next person, Saloni Walia.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, what would you do, Saloni?
Sir, I think, in my opinion, until we don't enrich ourselves, until we don't have control on our minds, we won't be able to equip ourselves properly. Because, say, for example, we want to learn a new language, as you mentioned, Python or whatever, machine learning, etc. We won't be able to retain that until we are not able to have a good control over our minds.
Okay, Saloni, very good. You have made your point very clear. And the same reason is given by Shubham Totade also. Because he says that I would like to enrich because unless I can control my mind, I can't go on the left path. Okay. So far we have had 3 people who are going towards the right turn, that is the enrichment. And that is only 1 person or 2 who have talked about the left side. Okay, let's go to 1 minute. Yeah. So who is online now? Subhashish Pani? Subhashish Pani, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, I'm not able to unmute him.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Subhashish. What do you say? Left or right? Which turn?
Sir, I want to enrich myself because I need to purify mind and to improve my concentration for better learning in the future, and that's why I want to get more enriched rather than
Okay,
equipped.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your views. Tanmay, would you like to say something?
Hello. Yes, sir. So I would probably go for enrich because I believe that mind purification is something permanent rather than skills. The skills would be, applicable for a temporary period of time, but the purification of mind is something that will stay with me for the rest of my life.
I think you have made a very valid point that equipping is only temporary. It's only for the current scenario, but enrichment is forever. Ayush has typed that he wants to have mastery of present skill sets and building new ones, and therefore he wants to go on the equip side. Okay, fine, that's fine. Everybody has an opinion and nothing is wrong or right because you can choose what you feel like. Okay, nobody can actually nobody can force you or okay, now I wanted to bring in Professor KC Padhy, but his mic has gone away. Sorry.
Interact.
Yeah. Yes. Professor KC Padhy, you can speak. Ayush, can you mute yourself, please?
Okay.
Yeah, yes, Professor Padhy.
Just I want to, I am as a PIC counseling service, actually please advise us when the students will be coming after post-COVID-19 situation. So how to cope with the new type of curriculum, new type of studies environment, and their trauma which they have passed through COVID-19. Please advise us how to proceed in this.
No, I will do that. But my question to you, sir, is that if you have to choose one path out of the 2, either enriching yourself or equipping yourself, then which one will you choose and why?
Naturally, enriching myself.
Enrichment. Okay. Is there any reason why? Why not equipping but enrichment?
But by enriching, I can share it to my students. For this is the reason.
Okay. So if you, but actually speaking, everybody has to, do it themselves. So as an individual, for your own benefit, what would you prefer in this situation? Do you want to learn new tricks and new tools, or do you want to enrich yourself by mind control and mind purification?
No, naturally, I will equip myself.
You will equip yourself for the future. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. Anybody else who would like to share their views? So we have roughly equal number of people right now, left and right. Let's look at Ashish Pandit.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
I
Ashish.
think I like this is also a question and also my opinion. I think I
Yeah.
would like to follow a balanced approach to both these two things. Given the lot of time we have, I think we can do both of these things. So I would like to go. I would like to take a rather balanced approach about
Yeah. But
enriching myself
Ashish,
and
there is a
equipping myself.
problem. Ashish, there is a problem. I told you, imagine yourself that you are
Okay.
on a road where there is only left turn and right turn.
Okay.
So you cannot say, I'll put my left leg on the left and right leg on the right and walk.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I have given you a specific problem. I understand in all situations, everybody would like to have this or that. But
Yeah.
you can't have both, unfortunately. So if you have a situation where you can't have both, and the same thing also, whatever I'm mentioning also applies to Adil Amar. Adil Amar is also saying the same thing, that I would like to choose
Okay.
both the paths. I'm sorry, I am asking you a question which says choose one of the paths. So what will you choose,
Okay.
Ashish?
So I think I would go with equip.
Okay, you will go for equip.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Adil Amar, I'm trying to unmute you, please. Would you like to speak? Yes, you are online now. You can speak.
Yes, sir.
Which
Yes,
path
sir.
will you take? Left or right turn?
Sir, if you ask me one part to choose, I would go with the enrich one, sir, because the long-term benefits and the impact that enrich could have over the both, like it would help me in further proofing my enrich, like the field of study, and also will have a major impact on learning more tools, like equipping myself for a greater future career. So I believe enriching myself have greater impact of those of the two for a better future, like a
Okay.
promising
Okay.
impact on future.
So you would like to do both, but given only one choice, you will go on the right turn. Okay. So now we again have a tie, friends. There are like 6 people who want to take left turn and 6 want to take right turn. So the floor is open for other people. There are 48 participants here. I would request other participants to also air their opinion. If you have difficulty in unmuting yourself or raising the hand, you can also send a message via chat window. But it is preferable if you participate by speaking. So anybody else would like to say left turn or right turn? Think about it, friends. Which road will you take and why? Okay, on the chat window there is someone. Okay, Lambi Lakshmi says she wants to enrich. So Lambi Lakshmi, can you elaborate why? I am unmuting you, Lambi Lakshmi. Why? Yeah, you are online
So,
now. Why
yes,
right turn?
because when it's a normal working day, non-lockdown situation, everybody is in the mood of a competition. So nobody ever thinks of like a physical development rather than mental development. We don't get time for enriching in a normal schedule. When we have a normal schedule, we are more into learning skills and new tricks. So when we are always doing that, it's better to do this right now.
Okay, that's also a very good point of view. Very nice point of view, that this is a time to enrich yourself. We will always be able to equip ourselves in the future whenever situation comes back to normal. Yeah, so therefore, what is the point in doing what you can do always? Good, very good. Ananya Singh, enrich. Okay. So Ananya Singh, I would like to know why enrich. But before that, I see that KK Prasant has raised his hand. Yes, Prasant. You can speak now, Prasant. Oh, sorry. Unfortunately, we can't hear you, Prashant. So can you type the reason for why you want to go for the enrichment path? No, unfortunately, Prashant, your audio is not coming out clearly. So it's better to type it. Mute yourself and please type your answer. Okay, so now guys, we have 8 people who said right turn and 6 on the left turn. So the floor is still open. This is a very important question, and what follows in this discussion is very much a function of the decision that you make right now. So I would request some other people to exercise their option. So Prashant says enrich, but no reason has been given. I would like you to give reason. Prashant, type the reason that you feel, and Ananya Singh also, please tell us about the reason. Ananya, I have unmuted you. Can you speak?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in my opinion, what I think is unless we truly know what exactly do we want and what we are, I don't think, this is my personal opinion, that I don't think anything outer there would be able to comfort us to the extent that we want, or we
Very
might
good.
be able to put our 100% effort in learning new skills.
Very nice, very nice. You have summed up the points very beautifully. Thank you. That's why I wanted you to speak. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ananya. Okay. Yes. So again, it is 8 versus 6 right now, and I would like to open the floor for some more time before I go ahead. Anybody else would like to differ and say, no, we should enrich, we should equip ourselves in this time because we have time. We should learn new skills. These skills will help us to face the future better. Once you have new skills more than my friend, then I will definitely be having an upper hand. Sumit Gupta says right one, because without enriching oneself, there is a strong chance that one can use the ability in destructive way. Very good. So now we have 9 on the right hand side. So I think friends, it is now quite unanimous. It is becoming very, very simple that right turn is the right turn actually in this particular scenario. The main reasons many people have already impounded, but I'll just elaborate on some of them further. One thing is, today you equip yourself to face a situation like COVID-19, but this is not the only thing that you will face in your life in the future. Okay, so what will happen is after some time there will be some other situation which will come into your life. Then you will say, okay, let me enrich themselves. So enrichment has to be on a day-to-day basis, as we are all aware of enriching ourselves in these challenging times. This should become a conscious effort. Very well said. Very well said. Okay. So the question is that you might equip yourself by learning a new tool, but very soon that tool may become obsolete. It may become useless. And what can also happen is that that particular tool may not be really useful in the future that much. Okay. So then what will you do? You just keep whole life enriching yourself. I mean, upskilling yourself. That is one thing. Where do you stop? Secondly, you may think today that this particular tool is needed, but tomorrow something else may be needed. So then you will say, oh my God, I spent so much time in learning this particular system or this language or this tool, but actually speaking, after 6 months, I find it was not really much useful. Maybe I should have done that thing. So you are never satisfied. The second thing is that if your mind is not in your control, if your mind is not peaceful, then the time taken and the effort taken to learn a new skill or to master an old skill will be much more. Whatever you learn in 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, you will take 30, 40, 50 hours if your mind is working at efficiency of 10% or 15%, because you are frustrated, you are angry, you are anxious, you are worried. So therefore, the best path forward in the current scenario is to actually enrich yourself. Okay. So now what we will do is we'll continue with our discussion. We are back to where we were regarding the 2 roads. Now let's see if you want to change your mindset, then you need to understand how the mind works. And in other words, you need to learn how to mind your mind, so that the entanglements in your brain, which are causing lot of tension, confusion, frustration, anger, anxiousness, they will be slowly entangled and your mind will have smooth and calm. So to understand that, we need to have a very brief understanding of how our mind works, because the mystery of how mind works only will help you acquire the right decision. So all of us as humans are born with certain faculties or certain sensors. Okay. For example, taste, hearing, smelling, touching, and seeing. These are the main 5 senses that all of us have, which are God gifted. They were given to us since we were born. Some of us may have some problem with hearing or with seeing, etc. So in some cases, it is possible to improve that by putting a supporting device such as a hearing aid or a spectacle for improving the vision. Okay. Uh, but for taste and smell and touch, I don't know whether there is anything available today to enhance that particular experience. However, these are, I would say, the inputs, the sense doors on which this is the door on which the input comes from the surroundings. There is one more sense door that we have, and that is the ability to think. Okay, to think. So these 6 senses are available, and when there is any input in these 6 senses, the first thing that happens is called as cognition. That means if you take some edible article and put it on your mouth. Okay, let's say this is a season of mangoes, so you cut a piece of mango and you put it on your tongue and you start chewing it. You get a feeling that there is some taste. Okay, but if you put, let us say, an eraser on your mouth, it is tasteless maybe. So there is absolutely, the cognition is that it is tasteless. Similarly, hearing, similarly smelling, similarly touching. Also, whenever some input comes into your body from outside, some thought arises in your mind. Okay? Now, this particular realization of input on any of the 6 sense doors immediately leads to what is called as an evaluation. Okay. This evaluation generally is of 3 types. The evaluation is positive, negative, and neutral. By positive, I mean I like it. Negative, I don't like it. Neutral, I don't care. So for instance, I'll give you a small example of, you are standing at one place and 2 people come nearby and they start talking to each other, not to you, to each other. But since your ears are working, the sound pressure wave from those 2 people, they come into your ear, and there is a cognition that somebody is speaking about something. And in that particular conversation, you come to know that they are speaking about you. And let us say that they are actually talking negative or bad about you. Okay. This is one situation. So immediately the evaluation that will arise in your mind is that I don't want it. Okay. Similarly, there could be a situation when you hear something being spoken, and when you hear something being spoken, you realize that what is being spoken is actually about you. And again, you realize that what is being spoken is very positive. You are being praised. You are being appreciated. Okay. So the evaluation that will come will be, oh, very good, positive. I want it. I like it. So there can be a third situation in which 2 people are talking to each other. They speak something, but they are speaking in a foreign language, and you don't understand that language, and therefore you realize that they are speaking about something, not about you. They're speaking about something, not about you, and therefore you say, okay, I don't care. So that like that you can imagine there can be a similar reaction or evaluation to the senses. Positive, that means I like it. Negative, that I don't like it. And neutral, I don't care. Now immediately what happens is, the moment you have evaluation of any sensory input in your mind, immediately if it is something that you thought, then a feeling arises in your mind. Again, a positive feeling, negative feeling, or I don't care feeling. Or if it is any of the other sense doors, then a sensation arises in your body. And that sensation basically means I don't want it to happen, or I want it to happen, or I don't care if it happens. Now, up to this part, my friends, unfortunately, we have no control. As human beings, the things that happen up to this point are completely voluntary, not into our control. So let us say, if you want to avoid any input coming to you because of the hearing sense door, then will you cut off your ear? No, you can't do that. But if you want to shut the input from the vision sense door, you can just close your eyes. If you close your eyes, then the cognition of the vision stops. Okay, but for touch, okay, maybe you can close your nose. Of course, you'll have difficulty in breathing. So some things can be closed. Maybe you can wear some sound cancellation headphones and take care of the hearing input. For taste, don't open your mouth, no problem. But things like touch, things like thinking, things like smell, it's very difficult to shut them off. Doesn't matter. The input will be there, and there will be a cognition. Then there will be an evaluation based on your past experience and based on your current mind. And there will be always some feeling of or a sensation. Now we come to a point where we have another junction with two paths, and you can take only one of these two paths. One path is the path of blind reaction, which most of us do. And in the blind reaction, we actually react to the feelings and the sensations that arise in our mind blindly. This is what most of us do. But there is another path which is possible, called as the path of bare observation. In the path of bare observation, even though feelings and sensations have arisen in your mind because of the evaluation of the various cognitions, you have the option of only doing bare observation. Now, what is the difference? If you do a blind reaction, that is a path towards misery, anger, anxiety, frustration. If you take the path towards bare observation, on the other hand, then you are going on the path of peace, calmness, relaxation, and tranquility. Unfortunately, most of us take the right turn in this case and go towards blind reaction, which leads to misery. But what we actually should be doing, if we want peace, is to take a left turn. All of us want peace, relaxation, and calmness in our life, but we take the path that leads us to misery. Right. Now the question is, if you even agree on this particular discussion on the intellectual level, because actually you have to experience this thing to realize how true it is. But suppose on an intellectual level, we agree that we should not respond or react or get too much affected by our feelings and our sensations. Suppose for argument's sake we say, how do we develop bare observation? So for that, friends, we have to learn a technique to look inwards. Generally what we do is, we always look outwards, and for everything that is happening to you, whether you are happy, whether you are sad, whether you are angry, whether you are frustrated, whether you are calm, you feel that the reason for that is outside you. Okay? The reason for that is outside you. That is what you feel. That is because no one has ever learned a technique to look inwards. Okay? Anger, anxiety, frustration. Where does it arise? It arises inside you. So if something arises inside you, then the reason for that cannot be outside you. Simple. There is another argument I would like to give you. For the same input, for the same kind of input on the sensory door for two people, if the reason is outside, then both of them should have the same reaction inside or the same feeling inside. But that doesn't happen. We know of some people who by nature are very peaceful and relaxed. They don't get affected too much by anybody who talks bad about them. But we know there are people who are highly, highly sensitive and who get terribly affected by people talking bad about them. So the input is the same, but the reaction is different. That is why, because the problem lies inside, and we have never looked inside. So we need to look. We need to learn a technique to look inside. The other thing that we want to learn is how to live in the present. In general, our mind is always wandering in the past or wandering in the future. It never lives in the present. Okay. So therefore, if we learn a technique that allows you to look inwards and to live in the present, then only you will be able to develop their observation. Now, second thing is, you may learn a technique, you may read about it, you may hear about it, but unless you practice it, it will not become a nature for you. It will only be theoretical. It will only be superficial. It will only be like something that you wear, not like your skin, which is a natural part of your body. So it is practice that makes us perfect. So therefore, not only we have to learn a technique, we also have to practice it till we achieve a level of perfection. So since all of us are uniformly facing a problem of anxiety, frustration, and uneasiness and uncertainty, let us try out a technique by which we develop the faculty of their observation. And we will do it right now. We'll do it right now. But let me tell you first about the technique. Let me give you some background about this technique. This technique is one of the many techniques available. And this technique is called as Anapanasati. Now, the word Anapanasati has come from the ancient language of Pali from India, ancient Indian language of Pali, in which the word Ana stands for coming in of the breath, and Apana stands for going out of the breath, and Sati stands for awareness. Okay, so the words Anapanasati stand for awareness of respiration, normal respiration, as it comes in, as it goes out naturally. Now, this naturally is very important. There are many techniques in which you develop awareness of the breath, but there you are asked to control your breath. Like we have heard about the yogic kriya of pranayam or sudarshan kriya, where we are asked to control our breath. We are asked to forcibly make our breath do something. This is completely opposite of that. Here we are saying, don't worry, just be aware of normal respiration as it comes in, as it goes out naturally. The first question that anybody asks is, why are we looking at breath? We are interested in calming our mind, achieving control on our mind. Talk about the mind. Give us a tool that works on the mind. Why on breath? First thing I want to tell you is that breath is something that is always available to us from the time we are born till the time we are dead. A doctor will determine whether you are alive or not only by checking your breath. Okay? And also, breath is something that is universally acceptable. Whether you are a Christian or whether you are a Hindu or whether you are a Muslim or whether you are a Parsi, you have no objection to breath because all of you breathe. If we had taken a tool corresponding to a statue or corresponding to an image or corresponding to a name or corresponding to some such thing, then it would have been of interest and acceptability would have been very high for one particular group of people. Okay. The other group of people will say, no, I don't want to take that tool because that doesn't belong to my religion. It doesn't belong to my sect. It doesn't belong to my caste. It doesn't belong to where I come from. But breath, who can say that I don't breathe? Okay. Universally acceptable. Americans, Indians, Japanese, Burmese. Everybody breathes. And for everybody, breath is available 24/7, even when you are asleep or when you are awake. So for a universal problem that is disturbing everybody, there should be a universal solution. A solution cannot be that it is applicable only to certain kind of people. This is one reason of its attraction of being available universally and everywhere and always. But more important, I think, is that breath is directly connected to our mind. Just like a thermometer can be used to measure a temperature of a body, breath can be used to understand the state of our mind. Because whenever our mind is agitated, our breath becomes irregular. And whenever our breath is calm, it means we are also calm mentally. So just like a stethoscope, a doctor can determine the condition of the human body by listening to the sounds of the heartbeat. Similarly, all of us can actually use our breath as a tool available to us 24/7 and acceptable to all to look at the state of your mind. Before I give you an exposure to the technique, I would like to also discuss what are the benefits of this technique, because many of you are wondering that what is he saying about breath? He is talking about some very abstract thing. Okay, this seems to be very religious or very spiritual and all those things. Is there any practical benefit of this technique to today's situation? So friends, this is a technique that has been proven to deal with fear, anxiety and pressure. Several studies have done and several people have already experienced it by their own experience. They have said that I have been able to overcome my fear, my anxiety and pressure to a large extent using this technique regularly. Secondly, this technique can calm and relax your mind. And for this, I'm going to give you a proof very soon, because I'm going to give you a small demo of this technique. You will practice it on yourself, and at the end of the session, you can take a decision whether you feel calm or relaxed or you feel more agitated. This technique allows one to experience happiness and peace, even though the situation around you is not very positive, even though the situation around you is not encouraging. And hence it should lead to frustration and anger. But it can lead to, by practicing this technique, you can actually experience happiness and peace. Finally, from the point of view of students, as some of you have already mentioned, this technique will also help you to improve your concentration and memory, because of which your ability to acquire new tools and new skills or ability to learn new tricks will automatically improve, and your retention of whatever you learn will improve, and therefore your performance in the examinations, in the interviews, in the evaluations will also increase. Today, you are all being subjected to large number of online classes, and we are not used to sitting on the computer and attending classes. So our mind gets bored and frustrated. This technique, when you practice this technique maybe between two lectures, will again bring your mind back to concentration and memory and help you grasp this better. For the professors in this particular group who are teaching regularly online, this will make you more efficient. This will make you also very calm and relaxed and avoid your agitation. So what we will do now is we will do a small practical trial of Anapanasati. But please remember friends, this is only a very small trial. I am not teaching you Anapanasati. Far from it. I am only going to give you a small trial. To do a trial, you need to first sit down in any comfortable posture or any position. I am not insisting that you should be sitting on the floor or sitting on the chair or sitting on the bed. You can choose whatever you feel like. But don't lie down and be in a situation where you are either sitting on the floor or sitting on a chair or sitting on a bed. Okay? So please do it as I say. Practice it right now. If you are on a chair, just sit on the chair. Be comfortable. Any comfortable posture. But the key requirement is that you have to keep your back and your neck straight. Because if you slouch your back or neck, or if you do not keep the back and neck straight, there is a tendency for becoming drowsy. And then when you become drowsy, you will not be able to follow the instructions which are going to be given very shortly. You will not be able to be aware of anything. You might actually fall asleep. I am going to play a very small audio file. The duration of this file is around 10 minutes. So in that file, some instructions will be given. And you have to simply scientifically follow those instructions. Do not add any new items to this instruction because you think that will improve. Do not remove any instruction because you think it is worthless. Kindly follow the instructions very faithfully. These are very simple instructions. But now we have a choice. Okay? So if you are ready, you can give me a thumbs up on the chat window. There is a button on the bottom right called reactions. On that reaction, you can probably give me you can give me a thumbs up. So when I see lots of people giving a thumbs up, I know that you are ready. Okay. So I'm going to stop my sharing. Okay. Sumit has given me a thumbs up. Oh, so only Sumit is ready, or other people also are ready? So on the bottom right, there is a button called reactions. You click on the button, you have only two options. Okay, you have only two options on the reactions. And one is clapping, one is thumbs up. So you give a thumbs up. If you are ready, you can even type on the chat, like Lambi Lakshmi has typed that she is ready. Okay, so even people can just type ready. So that will also tell me that you are ready. Okay, Shubham is ready, Ananya is ready, Aalisha, Tanmay are ready. Okay, Rashmi Ranjan has given me a thumbs up. Okay, good. So 8 people, 9 people, 11 people have given me a ready. Now I want to ask you one more question. The instructions are available in 2 languages. They are either in Hindi or in English. I want you to type and tell me which language do you prefer. It's just a preference. You can type Hindi or you can type English. So right now we have 4, 5, 6 Hindi, one Hindi and 5, 6 English. Okay. But we will wait for some other people to. So 2 people have said Hindi so far. Don't say both. Choose only one of them. Sumit, don't say both. Choose one, either Hindi or English. Okay. 3 people have said Hindi and many more have said English. So we are going to wait for a little bit more time to know the choice. Prayan Gupta says English. Okay. Aalisha says English. So I think most people are saying English. So I think we will go for English instructions. Okay. So I'm going to now share the screen once again. I hope everybody is ready, sitting comfortably, and sitting comfortably and keeping your back and neck straight. Okay. So I'm going to play the instructions. For the first 10 or 15 seconds, there will be silence and then instruction will start. So kindly just wait patiently. And follow these instructions. Okay, so I am now clicking on the link to play the audio. 10 seconds, the total time is 10 minutes. They will start very shortly.
Now let us practice Anapana for about 10 minutes. Practice Anapana. Sit comfortably in any posture that suits you. Keep your back and your neck straight. Keep your eyes gently closed. Those who wear spectacles should take off their spectacles during meditation period. Keep your mouth gently closed and focus your entire attention on the area at the entrance of the nostrils. The area at the entrance of the nostrils. And remain aware of every breath coming in, every breath going out. Natural breath, normal breath, as it is. If it is long, it is long. If it is short, it is short. Passing through left nostril. Passing through right nostril. Or through both the nostrils. Just remain aware, do nothing. Just remain aware. Alert, attentive, vigilant, remain alert, attentive, vigilant. Constantly aware of the breath, the incoming breath, the outgoing breath, incoming breath, outgoing breath. Keep your attention steadfastly fixed on this area, the entrance of the nostrils. Like a gatekeeper, like a watchman, aware of every breath entering the nostrils, aware of every breath moving out of the nostrils. Alert, attentive, vigilant. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, natural breath, pure breath, nothing but breath. Bhavatu sabda mangalam. Bhavatu sabda mangalam. Bhavatu sabda mangalam. Good, good. Be happy, be happy, be happy.
Okay, friends. So now is the time to take some feedback from the participants on how they felt in these 10 minutes. So once again, you can use a chat window, or preferably you can use the mic to share your feedback on how you felt. So Shubham Totade says he felt normal and relaxed. Okay. Anybody else? The floor is open for your feedback. Niharika says calm and composed. Tanmay says the effect was dramatic. Made my mind much more at ease, feeling happy and content. Rishi says weirdly relaxed. Piyush says refreshing but felt a little strain in the head. Nambi Lakshmi says unnaturally good. Okay, so people can also speak out. I mean, you don't have to necessarily just type your answer. I mean, so Sumit Gupta faced a problem that he was losing the attention continuously. Don't worry, Sumit. That happens to everybody. All of you must have appreciated and realized what I said about the mind. The mind always wants to either go into the past or go into the future. Our mind is like a monkey that jumps from one branch to the other continuously, and that is why we lose attention. That is why we lose attention. That is why we are not having any control on our mind. So losing attention is very natural. That is the nature of the mind. And today in these 10 minutes, you have experienced yourself the nature of the mind. All you are asking your mind to do is to focus on the breath. But it wants to do everything other than focusing on the breath. Your mind goes into the past, goes into the future, and then but don't worry, it will happen, and then you bring it back to the breath. It will again go away, bring it back to the breath. So anybody else would like to speak on the mic to share the experience? Everybody is preferring to type. So is there anybody who has a negative impression, who is feeling disturbed or feeling angry or feeling frustrated because of this particular experience? Did somebody have any serious problems while doing this, while practicing Anapanasati? Yes, Rishi.
Sir, am I audible?
Audible, yes.
So while I was doing it, like it felt a little bit relaxing and all, but now that I have come out of the, I don't know, trance or something, I'm also feeling a bit anxious about again going back into the regular chore.
Okay. It's okay. That is the nature of the human mind. That is the nature of the human mind. As I said, that see, what is going to happen in the future is absolutely not in your control or my control. Okay? We know this on a conscious level, but on an unconscious level, our mind is not in our hands. So it is basically out of control. And like a monkey, it jumps to the future and starts wondering what will happen. Okay, this is the problem, and that is why we are never at peace, especially when we are faced with such a situation. So that is why this technique, if you learn it, first of all, you have not learned anything today. Today you have only received, you have only watched the trailer of a movie. Okay, the movie is still not shown to you. It is only a trailer. The movie is still to be seen by you. Okay. Ayush says it sounds like a stoic philosophy. So Ayush, I want to understand from you. I'm trying to unmute you, Ayush. What do you mean by stoic philosophy? I'd like to understand.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
I'm audible.
Yeah, audible.
Sir, Stoicism is the philosophy majorly practiced during Roman times, like in Roman era,
Okay.
where most of where it in this way the major thing that mind, the only thing we can consult self and other things within,
Oh, Acha, unfortunately, Ayush, there is a problem with your mic. I'm really sorry. There is a problem with your mic. I'll have to request you to mute yourself and type your answer because you're not able to be. Bishwajit Nayak, you have commented something about it being not negative. So can you please share your views on the mic? I'm trying to unmute you, Bishwajit. So we also have Atul Patil. Atul, I'm trying to unmute you. Would you like to comment on how you felt, Atul? Yes, Atul.
Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir, for giving us a direction where we should lead ourselves in this difficult time. I fully agree with you what and many other students what they said, that we should be looking at our enrich, okay, or equip, and to understand the mind. I think is the best way to start with. And I wish that this 10 minutes could have been half an hour. And I can now relate that what our sons do in Himalaya, hours together, how much they must be uplifting their internal desire to control what otherwise is uncontrollable.
Right. Okay, thank you, Atul. So I did not make it half an hour because of shortage of time, obviously. But as I mentioned to you, what you have experienced is only the trailer of a movie. In my next slide, I'll talk to you about the movie. So just hang on for a minute. The picture abhi baki hai mere doston. But what I want to do is go ahead and look at what is the comment by anybody else. So many people have practiced this technique. So they should be able to share their views, right? So anybody else would like to share their views and their experience of these 10 minutes? Okay, let's move ahead because we are coming near to the time. So I'll once again share my screen and take you further. So if you really want to learn this technique, you have to register for these free online practice sessions. They are happening twice a day. They're happening at 8 o'clock every morning and 7:30 every evening. And in the morning and evening sessions, the instructions are given jointly in Hindi and English. But today is a weekend, and only on weekends there is a special session at 2:30, which will be just after this particular talk gets over, in which the instructions are only in English. And there it is a session that goes for a little bit longer time than what I have taken. There they will teach you properly. Okay, I will keep on repeating myself. I have not taught you anything. I have only given you an exposure of, please watch the movie by going online, registering at the site which is mentioned here. I'm going to also share this on the chat window very soon. And learn this technique properly. Ask your doubts, ask your queries. Things like losing attention, not able to concentrate, getting a spinning feeling, all those questions will be properly answered there. Before we finish, I just have only one slide in which I want to share today's takeaway. What is our takeaway today? And this is a conversation between a duck and a human that was recently shared by somebody. So what I've done is I'm going to show it to you in 6 separate conversations. The first conversation you can read on the screen right now. This is a very, very intelligent and very noble duck. We human beings are worried about lockdown. Okay. But the ducks are more exposed to dangers than us. We are concerned about our death, but the ducks know more than us that we all will die one day or the other. We are worried about the future, and the wise duck gives a very befitting answer. We are also very confused because we are blasted by a lot of information about COVID-19 on WhatsApp, on YouTube, on forwards, and we just don't know what to believe, what not to believe. And finally, we feel that we are living in a very strange time right now. But actually, that is not true. Life has always been like this. Change is the only constant, and unless we learn to make us future-proof against any change, we will not be able to handle the situation. So thank you so much. I've come to the end of the session, and thanks for your participation. I am still open for any questions that you may have. Okay. So I'm going to stop my sharing, and I'm going to open the window for people who would like to ask any questions. So, okay. So Ayush has clarified what is meant by the Niharika. Niharika has raised her hand, so I'll try to find her. One minute, please. I'm sorry, I'm not able to find Niharika on the chair. There you are. There you are. Okay. Yes, Niharika.
So,
Yeah.
so I have a question. So, as you might be knowing, anxiety may manifest itself in the form of panic attacks. Let's say my friend is going through anxiety and he or she has a series of panic attacks. So, what to do in a situation when a person is having a panic attack? Like, how to tackle this situation? It is a bit frightening and scary, and I think it might be out of context, but like I have this doubt.
No, this is very much in context, Niharika, because all of us are undergoing anxiety, and therefore some of us may end up in a panic attack. Now, when somebody is suffering from a panic attack, that is basically, I think, a medical situation. So I'm not a qualified doctor to tell you what kind of actions are to be done. But if you can ask the person, see, if you know your friend who is prone to panic attacks, you can tell them about this technique, and you can tell them, learn this technique, and whenever a panic attack is about to strike, practice. This tool, if you know how to use it, see, it's like this. It's a tool. You have to learn how to use it so that when a situation arises, you can use it. But you cannot teach a tool to a person who is under panic, because that may be too late. So what you can do is, according to me, if somebody is prone to nervous breakdowns, panic attacks, etc., you can tell them that, hey, there is a tool available. Please learn it by registering on the website. Practice it regularly so that in a situation when a panic attack or a nervous breakdown situation strikes, you can use this tool to make yourself calm.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Niharika. Anybody else would like to add anything? So if there are no more, there are a few, sorry. Sorry, Rishi.
Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Sir, actually, I'm a part of ICS, the Institute Counseling Services, and I have come across many students who open up to me regarding their issues and all. And throughout this entire COVID-19, the lockdown period and all, where a lot of us have been forced to stay at our homes for extended periods of time, and as you have suggested, there are different ways in which we can go about and deal with it by either enriching ourselves or you have shown us multiple paths However, a common feature among the students which I have noticed is that they don't have the motivation to look for paths. In the sense that you have suggested, for like using your metaphor, you told that if we are on a road and like there's a left road and the right road, which one do you choose? I have noticed a tendency where our students feel like there is no need to take up a path because abhi ka jo situation hai, we'll just stay at our homes kind of situation. Like the lack of motivation which is coming through among our students, do you think that like the technique that you have suggested to us, like while it is really amazing in how it calms ourselves, but like in terms of finding motivation for these students, do you think like this tool can be used?
100%, 100%. See, one of the reasons for lack of motivation for doing anything is a feeling of helplessness. It's a feeling of giving up, and you come to some kind of a conclusion that nothing will improve, nothing is going to benefit, so why bother about it? So when you lose all these kind of motivation, at that time you are basically, you have given up the control of your mind completely. Whereas if you slowly, first of all, to do something or to learn something, you need to be at peace with yourself, right? So this technique is going to make people at peace with themselves, accept the reality, and hence it will definitely help in bringing back the motivation to learn new things and to do new things. Okay, moving on to Tanmay.
Hello?
Yeah, Tanmay, you're audible.
Yes. So just like I probably wanted to add one thing which has helped me is to filter the nature of information that we are exposing ourselves to. You know, like every day we would be either like watching some news feed or video or reading some content. So if we constantly read negative, sort of morbid information, that also I think would affect our mind negatively. So if we can sort of add a filter to the kind of information that we are, allowing our mind to get into, it will be much easier to.
Yeah, okay. But Tanmay, there is a slight problem. The thing is, you cannot live in a make-believe world. Okay?
Yes.
You cannot fool yourself that everything is okay, nobody is dying, all this news is false. Yes, you have to have optimism, you have to have positive feelings, but it's like saying that my mind reacts to the inputs which I receive from my sense and my touch and my vision. So if I don't want any input, let me blind myself, let me make myself deaf. That is not the way to tackle. The way to tackle is to cut the reaction, to take the path where you say, okay, things are happening, feelings are arising, sensations are arising, but I will not react blindly. That is the better way. Accepting reality and moving ahead is much better than kind of fooling yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else would like to add something? We are almost actually we are 5 minutes above our time. We are supposed to wind up at 1 o'clock, but we have gone to 1:05. This is also because many of you registered late. I mean, we started our discussion only at around 11:45. So it's okay. I can spend another 5 minutes, but only if somebody has any questions or any comments to make. So I'll open this discussion for some more time. Otherwise, I'm going to thank all of you and then move on. So this is the last chance for you to ask your doubts. In the meantime, I'm going to type the link on the chat window where you are supposed to register. Okay. So my earnest request to everybody is that don't stop at this point. This particular interactive session should only act as a motivation or as a inspiration for you to take the next step. The next step is very important, which is to register yourself for this free online sessions, one of these sessions that is convenient to you. Learn the technique properly, get all your doubts clarified, and then practice. Use it whenever you want, wherever you want. So there are no more questions or comments, hence I'm very thankful to Professor K.C. Padhy for allowing me to address all of you on this very interesting and contemporary topic. And I hope that all of you are able to benefit by this technique and able to handle the uncertainty and the anxiety. So, Professor Padhy, I am unmuting you for the closing remarks, if any, and then we can close the chat. Okay, so since there is no feedback, no comments, I'm just going to end the session. Thank you very much for joining, and hope you have enjoyed and hope you have benefited. You can give me your response using the reaction button.